One of the things I've noticed on these internet streets, when we find women that are being sympathetic, it's usually because they have a man in their life, a father, brother, or a son. A lot of the tune starts to change when you're raising a son and you finally have to legitimately say, let me look at things from his point of view. And sometimes you get this rare moment where it causes that, said woman to look back at their own lives and like, wow, 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 wow. What type of person was I being to the men in my life? And before we get into this, guys, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps the channel, really helps the algorithm. Let's get into this.
Boy mom is why I don't have sympathy for a lot of stupid that women do. And this is a follow up to the video I just made about the lady at work giving away her Valentine's Day flowers that was given to her from somebody she's dating. I see a lot of women trying to make excuses to myself. She was just spreading the love and she just stop. I'm a boy mom at the end of the day. Don't come over here if you don't want to be held accountable. Don't. I'm the first example of what a woman should be. That's what my son see. That's what my son see. I hold myself accountable and I self-reflect like a all the time. I try to be everything I want my son to have in a woman and in a wife and in a mother. I remember it was a time when I was honest and I said I would never want my son to bring home a woman like me. Ever. Because that's how I was. You couldn't tell me. I was never wrong. I didn't know how to compromise, didn't know how to communicate, and damn sure didn't know how to comprehend. Just filled with trauma. Up. And I think it's whack as hell that when women are behaving in a certain way, it's always, yeah, but, or trying to prank them into being a victim. If you wrong, you wrong. That's how my page is. That's how I roll. I'ma always just call it how I see it. And they know that about their mama. Mama gonna always keep it real. You understand what I'm saying? And I thank God that I got the ability to also be able to look at everything from everybody's point of view and then come to my own conclusion. If it don't make sense, it don't make sense. That's just what it is across the board.
So right here, it's this what it costs. This is what it takes for someone to cross that line, right? The the no man's land where we both, it's World War II. We got both sides entrenched, dug in. This is what it takes sometimes. You have to know what it would be like. Someone you love, someone you care about. You can finally have an opportunity to look and say, wow, yeah, you know what? I came into this with so much trauma. A woman like me would ruin my son. Therefore, by the law of modus tollens, if P then Q, I've ruined some men. At least I've contributed to the ruination of some men. Right? It's something that, yes, we want to celebrate. We're happy about. We love when we see it. But I want you guys to notice something. A lot of the times when women notice this, it's later in the life. It's later in the life. There's already kids. There's already, the consequences of bad behaviors, of bad choices that they lament or they're not happy with. And now it's we need more of women to say, to talk to younger generations and say, yeah, don't do this. Right? Instead of going into it being sort of ashamed and not wanting pity or whatever reason. You say, listen, these are the things I do in my life. I want you to have better outcomes. And this should be something we do outside of our own consequences, outside of our own situation. That I have a daughter, I have a son, therefore, let me now do better for other people. No, 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 no. We should like, I don't know, because we don't really have a community anymore, that we don't operate under that sort of guise. But that should be the thing. These are mistakes I made in my life. I don't like where I am, and I don't want you to be there. In this case, I don't want you to teach your daughters poorly, because these are the women that my sons are going to have to pick from. And I love my sons just the same way you love your daughters. You can you understand that? But to her point, she said she was messed up in a myriad of different ways. In a myriad of different ways, right? You couldn't comprehend, you couldn't compromise, you couldn't do all these things that we know before anyone really gets into the dating scene. We're all taught that you have to compromise, that you have to comprehend. But what do we really see? We see people responding to get their point across quicker, faster, louder, to the point it's like, as men, we just end up sort of pulling away and say, what's the point of communicating when you're not really listening? You just want to be heard. When does that lesson sink in? Usually when everything implodes. Usually when everything implodes. I've seen that myself. Relationships have failed, and at the end, when the real failure is on the table, when the consequences are looking at both of us in the face, that's when it's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should have been nicer. Maybe I should have been kinder. This isn't something that's just intrinsically just for women, right? These are times when I think if you're doing sort of the work, trying to prepare yourself to be, better in the next relationship, you look and see what things did I do wrong, and maybe you can't get an exit interview, but we have the next best thing with videos like this where she's just kind of being open and real about it. Guys, if you have experience like this, let me know. If there's something that you learned from a previous relationship and you can share with the class, I appreciate that. All right. See you guys in the comments.